Hello, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. Today we have an all new Project Pan update. So I was actually debating on whether or not I was going to share an update this month because there are some products that saw very little progress and then there are some that I did well on. But I figured I would go ahead and share anyway because I find that checking in monthly really keeps me motivated for my project. So let's hop right into the update. So first up, I have my Natasha Denona Mini Biba. I did use this a couple times this month, and as we know, I absolutely love this one. A couple of you told me in the comments this month because I uploaded a couple of eyeshadow palette based videos, and a couple of you told me you purchased this off my recommendation and are loving it, and that makes me so happy. Again, this is just my favorite palette. There are some palettes that have really crept up to be in my top 10, top 5 even, but this one just holds that top spot for me. I love these peachy tones, especially on my fair skin. I just think they are so pretty and so flattering, and they just give such a nice twist to a basic neutral palette. I just think these peachy tones are so flattering, and this is my favorite shimmer of all time. It's called Blaze Nude, and it's like a champagne, but it does have that peachy undertone to it to fit in really well with the rest of these peachy tones, and I just love this palette. I still haven't hit pan on that shimmer. That's the goal with having this in the project, is to hit pan on that shimmer. I haven't done it yet, but I can sense we're getting close because that pan itself has such a dip. I know we can do it. Okay, next I put in my Natasha Denona High Glam Concealer. This one's really hard to measure, but I know it's getting low. This is still my absolute favorite concealer. I love this one so much. Nothing blends like this one does while also just giving amazing coverage. And this is another one that is amazing to use under the eyes. It's amazing for spot concealing. It's amazing if you want to use it all over the face in order to skip foundation. This is incredible for that. I've already purchased a backup of this. I love it so much, which is kind of why I want to use this one up. And I can see that we are hitting the sides a little bit down here when I'm scraping for more. So I do still think there's a lot left in here, but it's just a little bit hard to monitor the progress. Next, I want to talk about my blushes. So I have been using my blushes a little bit differently in this project, whereas most of these I am trying to either finish up or hit pan. My blushes I have been cycling through with a usage goal. So I have a usage goal of 8 for every blush that comes into this project, and I don't take it out until I hit that mark. I'm doing that because I have a ton of blush, and this past month I bought and tried a ton of blush. And so I find that having them cycle through my project with the usage goal in this way really allows for me to get the most use out of more products in my collection. I've really been enjoying doing that, but this month I did really terribly. Like I said, I bought and tried a lot of blushes. So for each blush in my project, I have the Milani powder blush in Tea Rose, and I have the Rose Ink lip and cheek color in the shade Delphine. Both of these I only used twice, so I need 6 more uses for each one. I did put 2 blushes in because if it's only 8 uses, it should be no problem to hit the goal on both of them. But like I said, I tested and tried a ton of blush in May, so I completely forgot that these were even here for the most part. So I did put in Tea Rose because these Milani flower blushes are actually a really nice formula. I find them to be very underrated. I think they're a beautiful blush from the drugstore. They are a bit more powdery. You do get more powder kick up with them, but they are pigmented and very beautiful on the skin. These are a matte formula, but I thought this nice rosy tone would play well with the Rose Ink. So if I was feeling peachy, I could go with the Rose Ink. If I was feeling a little more pink, I could go with the Milani. Great in theory, it just didn't work for me this month. But the Rose Ink in Delphine, I love this one. This is the most perfect peachy blush for the summer months. And this is one of my favorite cream blushes because this is a bit more of a moussey formula. It's a little bit more stiff, but it just applies to the skin so beautifully. It melts right in and just gives you such an almost natural looking flush. I absolutely love this. I think it's beautiful. And there's something about the tone of this one that, again, I just love. It's the perfect peach for my very fair skin. So I will be leaving these in, and hopefully at the end of June, I will be removing them and adding 2 more in, but these will be staying in for another month because I did not hit my goal. Next, for the bronzer in the project, I have my NARS Laguna Bronzing Cream in Laguna 01. Now, I did use this quite a few times. I can definitely see a dip here, but I really don't think the camera was capturing it. But I do see a dip. This is not one that I think I'm going to hit pan on by any means. There is still a ton of product left in here, but I really enjoy this cream bronzer, so I want to keep it in the project. I am going to be putting my bronzers on a usage goal so I can have them cycling through a little bit more. Initially, I wasn't doing that because I had a few bronzers that were close to hitting pan, and I wanted to make sure that I did. Whereas I don't really have anything else that is close to having pan in it. So given that I don't have anything that's close, I'm just going to focus on getting use out of more of my products. So I'm going to put these on a usage goal. Starting now, I am going to put this on 8 uses. Last month, I also added in my Lawless Forget the Filler Lip Plumping Line Smoothing Gloss. And this one, I don't really know how much use I have left in it. It was laying on its side, so it is a little higher over here, but I feel like there's really not much left of this, like maybe a couple months worth. This is the gloss I reach for every single time I need a clear gloss. So this is Rosy Outlook, so it's actually like a sheer pink, but I reach for this every time I need something clear because it has the slightest tint to it. But I love this gloss. It is a little bit sticky, so it will do the stringy thing between the lips if you get too much. That being said, I love the applicator on this one. I love the way it hugs the lips. I love the way it makes the lips look more full and smooth without having any sort of tangle to it. That gets huge points with me, but I love this gloss. I think it's wonderful. So I'm happy to keep this one in the project and keep using it. Next is the powder that I have in this project, and this is the Pat McGrath Under Eye Blurring Powder in the shade Light. So I've had this one for quite a while, and this is another one that it's really hard to capture the progress on camera, but when I'm looking at this, I can really see that it's starting to sort of level out. It was quite a larger dome at first, but it's really starting to level out. I did use this every chance I got. There was a couple times where I set it aside so I could use my Givenchy powder, but I was really good about using this consistently this month, so I definitely noticed a lot of progress. I do like this. I think it's very lightweight. I don't think it's as blurring as my Givenchy, but it is still a really nice blurring under eye powder. It's really great for setting the under eyes and not adding any weight. And this is one that you can also use all over the face if you want to, especially if you have dry skin. This is a nice one to take any sort of tackiness out of the foundation, but not add any weight to the makeup. So I think that's really great, and I really do love this powder as well. Next, we have a pretty good update on my MAC Volux brow liner. So this is my MAC brow pencil that I've had in for the last few months, and I put this one in because I've had it for a long time. It's getting pretty old, and it is a wooden pencil, which isn't my typical preference for my brows, but I like this because the way it goes on, it kind of ends up looking a little bit more like a powder, so it looks a little bit more natural. And you'll see from the photos, we had a very noticeable dip in this product this month, but it was not because I used it so well. It's because I had a bit of a fight with a pencil sharpener. So I kept trying to sharpen it and it kept breaking, and then it occurred to me to try a different sharpener, and that worked, but not before I lost a lot of product, unfortunately. So we did make a lot of progress on this one, not for the right reasons, but I am a lot closer to finishing this one. And finally, I did finish up my Lawless setting spray. So I put my Lawless setting spray in an empty Charlotte Tilbury spray bottle because the original mister on the Lawless was really defective. I think I only had it and used it a few times before the mister was already clogged and jammed and would just make a mess. So I finished up a Charlotte Tilbury setting spray, and then I poured my Lawless in here. and that definitely helped me use up that setting spray. I really like that one, but I would not purchase it again because of the mister, and my actual favorite setting spray is the Charlotte Tilbury anyway. I was up to here with this one when I first put it in the project a few months ago. The next update I was down to here, and then I've been empty. So I'm really happy to say I have an empty in this project. That is very, very exciting. So since we had the setting spray leave the project, I always like to add in 1 or 2 more products every time something leaves. So I've decided to, since I have changed my bronzers to a usage goal, I've decided that I'm going to have a cream bronzer and a powder bronzer in here, each going to be 8 uses. I feel like maybe I'm getting a little too ambitious, but I'm just trying to work my project around the way that I like to use my makeup, and I feel like that is how I'm going to be most successful. So, bronzers and blushes on a usage goal, we have my NARS Laguna Bronzing Cream, and for the powder blush, I decided to put in my MAC Sunstruck Matte Bronzer in the shade Light Rosy. So they did come out with a brand new bronzer line last year. They have radiant bronzers and matte bronzers. I do prefer a good matte bronzer, so this is one of my favorites. I love this one because it's fair, but it doesn't pull orange at all. It has more of a rosy undertone to it, so it ends up looking like a more natural sun-kissed glow on my very fair skin. So I really do love this bronzer, and I'm excited to have it in. This is one that I've been missing a little bit while I've been testing and playing with others, so I'm excited to have this one in the project for a little bit. And a product I've been using daily that I noticed I'm getting pretty low on is my Rare Beauty Flexible Lifting Brow Gel. Now, I use this every single time I do my makeup, and I love this. This is easily my very favorite brow gel. This one gives me the hold that I want while it doesn't make my brows look crusty or shiny or anything like that, but it really does hold everything in place, and I just love this brow gel. I was really loving the LYS brow gel, and I do still like that one, but I found that that one would really get really gunky around the applicator. So you do have to be careful to clean it off, whereas this one doesn't do that, so I'm just naturally more inclined to reach for this one. And I can tell that I am getting very low. This is going to be very hard to track just because it is a fully opaque tube, and I can only tell based on whether or not I'm getting product out. But I can tell this is getting very close to being empty. So I thought I would throw this in to use up because I feel like it's one of those things that I'm going to put in to help keep myself motivated because I'm naturally going to finish this. So knowing I'm going to have empties is a good thing. And that is it. So I'm really happy that we had at least an empty. We did make a lot of progress on the MAC brow pencil, not intentionally, but I did. And then I feel better about deciding to put my bronzers on a usage goal as well. Again, I remember thinking about doing that last month, but I can't remember if I actually put that into action. I don't think I did, so we're gonna start now. And I'm feeling really good about the products that are in my project right now because these are all products that I really love, I really enjoy, so I'm naturally going to want to reach for them. So I feel good about that. But that is it for me today. Thank you so very much for watching. If you're new here, I hope you'll consider subscribing before you go. I do upload new videos every single week. Thank you again so very much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!